Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're continuing to explore the Herald of Dorn. No, Herald of Oblivion. Damn it! One day I'll just be able to roll that off. I'm never gonna be able to roll that off my tongue, am I? No, I'm always gonna call it the Legacy of Oblivion or something, or the Warhammer 40 Oblivion. I don't know, something wrong, whatever the case. So fun fact: I made myself a cuppa since the last episode. I haven't actually drank it yet, but I'm suddenly feeling more awake because somehow just walking to the kitchen, I managed to pull a muscle in my right buttock, so now my bum hurts. Yeah, just walking to a kitchen, like what the hell? So anyway, so that's my life. How are you? You doing well? Good. Also, yeah, I also took my hoodie off, so I'm a bit cooler now, which should keep me awake. That's right. Good. So, yeah, my purity score is equal to or greater than 9. If you remember, we're basically going down the esophagus or something of a big old space beastie. Yes, we're in a Tyranid hive ship. So, yeah, we definitely want purity on our side, because otherwise the Omnicize is just going to let us get digested or something. We'll see. So, something at the periphery of your conscious mind, a warning from the Emperor himself perhaps, alerts you to the fact that you're being watched. Oh no. Arming yourself, you spin around just in time, as that which was hidden, but which is now revealed to your appalled gaze, moves to attack. What was it? Ooh, that does not look like something you want to fight. Was that like is that a Hive Tyrant or something? I don't know what a lot of the Tyranid things are called. And they all look pretty scary and crazy. Or it's just Tyranid warrior, maybe. Previously camouflaged against the wall of the muscular tunnel, standing before you now in all its terrible glory, is a creature twice as tall as you are, a pair of mantis-like claws arches from its shoulders. It is also armed with another pair of lethally taloned forelimbs and a mouth festooned with writhing feeder tendrils that make it look, oh my, yeah, a little Cthulhu looking, that's so cool. That make it look like the creature has a mouthful of wriggling annelids. So still was the creature that even your auspex failed to detect its presence. The chameleonic lictor, it's a lictor, stalks towards you, moving in for the kill. Its reinforced chitin armor and rending claws, making it a deadly adversary indeed. But we can set it on fire, probably. We only have 15 shots left in the flamer. Really? Huh. Well then, that sucks. We're going to try and set it on fire anyway. Alright, you can try and attack at range. So, missed. Oh, nice one. Oh, we hit there. Oh, and now we can do For Dawn, which is always great. 9 wounds. Yeah, I'll do that, please. Stab. For Dawn. That went well. Chainsword. Doing alright for us. Good boy. The fight is over. Alright then, so, well, we did that, didn't we? So what's next? Here we go. Victory. You may have defeated the lictor, but you know that you are not out of danger yet. Hunting lictors give off a pheromone, which sets other Tyranids nearby onto its prey. Oh no. It would be wise not to hang around here any longer. So you set off on your way, exiting the tunnel and entering a large cathedral-like space. The chamber floor is pockmarked with pore-like craters and pits of what looks like bubbling tar. They are in fact the bioship's rendering pits. Weapons at the ready, you cautiously make your way between the pools of primordial slurry. So I'm assuming this is stuff gets digested in here, I'm guessing. Maybe. That's where the biomatter gets thrown in. Gets, rendered down into usable genetic material or something. Cross the grisly platforms of cartilaginous matter. Suddenly your auspex chimes, having picked up Brother Radamus' signal again, on the far side of the rendering chamber. You pause for a moment as you focus your thoughts. Perhaps if you concentrate hard enough, he might be able to spy your consciousness through the fetid haze of the hive mind with his psychosight, and know that you are on your way. Only Radamus' signal isn't alone for long. Soon the built-in proximity alarm begins to sound, and multiple points paint the scope with glowing green runes. Since entering the Tyranid hive ship, how many of the following organisms have you encountered? 1. Oh, so potentially there's a few. Oh, interesting. Okay. So there were a bunch of times when we could have bumped into more Tyranids. That's really interesting. So, the first warning you receive that your progress through the superorganism about to be challenged is the chiming of your Auspex. It detects the presence of multiple life forms moving towards you at speed. Then you catch sight of them for yourself. It makes me wonder, would I have fewer things to fight had I seen more, or would seeing more have just alerted the Hive ship more and, you know, awoken or spat out more beasties? I don't know. I don't know. So then you catch sight of them for yourself. The Ripper Swarm looks like a writhing mat of monstrous maggots, but maggots with glossy chitinous shells and slavering, over-large mouth parts. Each of the creatures surging towards you now is little more than a broad maw of needle-sharp teeth attached to an armoured serpentine body. The swarm is utterly relentless, driven by a voracious hunger, and poses a significant threat, even to a Space Marine in Terminator armour. Probably the Heavy Flame is the best goddamn weapon to have in a situation like this, though the stats probably won't represent that necessarily, but still, it doesn't look like a problem to us generally, so Heavy Flamer would kick the crap out of it, but nope, not even going to bother. Instead, we're going to shoot at it with the bolter, because it's already dead. Oh no, that was so difficult. Victory. It was just with a bolter as well. Oh well. Even though you've dealt with the bioship's first wave of defense organisms, you suspect more will be on their way soon. Quickening your steps, you reach the far side of the rib-vaulted body cavity and pass through the cartilaginous archway on the other side, and that's when it hits you. It's like a wave of palpable, panic-inducing terror that gnaws at your mind and your sanity with the sheer overwhelming horror of it all. After all, you are creeping through the guts of some vast spacefaring organism that is only a minuscule part of an unimaginably vast intergalactic entity possessed of an appetite so insatiable even the millions of star systems contained within the galaxy are not enough to satisfy its ravenous hunger. Yeah, I got plenty of purity, mate. Some malign entity nearby is projecting an aura of dread that gnaws at the edges of your sanity, scratching at the back of your mind, bringing your darkest fears and phobias to the surface. For, whatever the Codex Astartes might say, there are things that even a Space Marine fears, such as, in your case, not being able to complete your mission, or failing to fulfill your duty to your fellow Imperial fists. 40k, guys. Space Marines, the only thing they fear is letting heresy thrive. Just so self-righteous. But hey, that's Space Marines, so I guess it's at least, yeah, trying to humanize him would probably be a bit kind of out of sorts with the rest of the subject material. But still, anyway, it's just like, come on, guys. Anyway, like, dude, just please be relatable in some way, Space Marines, please, okay? You boring faction. But anyway, however, as a battle brother of the First Company, you know how to use those anxieties, how to turn them back upon themselves, letting them fuel your righteous anger and retributive fury, so that you might better punish the enemies of mankind. The Emperor protects. Your declaration echoes from the bony walls of the rendering vault, and hearing your words echoed back at you, you feel your faith revitalize you. You shall not fail your Primarch or him enthroned upon Earth, no matter what obstacles the hive mind might set before you. And we gain more purity. And we have 51 now. Or is it just 50? 51. We have 51. Madness. Oh, we found a librarian. Thanks. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me, Big Box. Anyway, beyond the bony archway, you find yourself in a much smaller space. The walls of this organ chamber are made of pulsing black flesh, etched with the spider's web of what look like pulsating blood vessels. But the appearance of the chamber itself is not what grabs your attention as you enter. The monster must be at least 6 meters tall, the bony protrusions on its back reaching even higher than that. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. It stands on 2 enormous armored trunk-like legs that end in both hooves and claws. Every part of the Xenoform's body has been genetically engineered with only one end in mind: to maim and kill the Hive Fleet's prey. The plates of obsidian purple chitin that cover the ivory flesh beneath are stubbed with razor-sharp barbs. In one of its 4 taloned hands it holds a bone sword that crackles with neural energy, and in another it clutches the body of Brother Librarian Radamus. Epistolary! You cannot help yourself. The shock of seeing the librarian like this, snared in the claws of the monster, is too much for you. The Hive Tyrant. Ooh, spoopy. Look at him go. Scary. Oh, and is that the is that the librarian? I'd assume so. He's got a staff. Yeah, probably. Anyway, the Hive Tyrant turns its needling stare on you, and in the same moment you feel its alien consciousness probe your mind's defenses, like talons scraping the inside of your skull. There is a sinister, self-aware intelligence at work behind those glassy, shark black eyes. Brother Nabor, the librarian gasps. Stay back. Unconsciously, you tighten your grip on the weapon in your hand, Radamus' own war gear, his Force Hammer. Okay, that's a Force Hammer, probably. And Storm Shield. I don't see a Storm Shield. Never mind. Never mind. I guess just not pictured here. That's fine. His Force Hammer and Storm Shield lies not far from you. Oh, right, he's not carrying those. Amidst the vicious phlegm-like slime covering the spongy floor. But Apostolari, you begin, taking a step towards the monstrous Tyranid and its captive. The beast is too powerful, Radamus gasps, clearly in a great deal of pain. It is only then, as the Hive Tyrant draws back the limb clutching the librarian, that you see how the horror has breached the librarian's armor, and already has its claws inside his body. But I believe today is a good day for me to die. As you do. The Hive Tyrant turns his gaze on its prisoner, hissing savagely. Dramatic. You can feel the malign influence of the synapse creature's psychic powers, so you hate to think what they must be doing to one whose mind is attuned to such otherworldly sensations. It must be pure torture. You cannot simply stand by and watch as Radamus is forced to endure such suffering. But what can you do? A Hive Tyrant is a powerful beast indeed, easily capable of wiping out a regiment of Imperial Guardsmen by itself. Grant Apostolari Radamus the Emperor's peace and put him out of his misery, or attack the Hive Tyrant using my own war gear, or attempt to recover Apostolari Radamus' war gear in order to use a Force Hammer and Storm Shield. I should get the Storm Shield and stuff. Does that sound good? Probably. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. I want a new hammer. With the Hive Tyrant occupied with the struggling Radamus, you dash across the chamber to where the Apostolari's war gear lies, making sure you keep out of the way of the monster's talons. But the Hive Tyrant does not need to be able to touch you to cause you harm. Hissing with a savage alien hatred, the Hive Tyrant reaches out to you with its mind and unleashes a piercing shriek of psychic force that sends you reeling. It is an attack so powerful it shreds both your body and soul. I'm fine. I'm still alive. Wow, look at that. That is so cool. Dismissing the idea of recovering the librarian's war gear until the battle is done, you unleash the Emperor's righteous fury on the Hive Tyrant with everything you have in your personal arsenal. Use Brother Kale's holy Storm Bolter. Even a Terminator Space Marine, even an Imperial Fist, is going to struggle to best one of the Hive Tyrant's commanders in single combat, only you're not alone. By distracting the monster from the captive in its claws, you give the Brother Librarian the time he needs to muster his prodigious psychic powers one last time, focusing them into a last-ditch assault on the synapse creature. With a scream of Purgatus, Radamus unleashes an almighty blast of warp energy. It explodes with such force that just for a moment it looks to you like the Librarian has rent the veil between the physical realm and the warp asunder, unleashing devastating forces that utterly consume the shrieking Tyranid. The psychic shockwave picks you up and hurls you against the wall of the chamber, causing you to black out. You lose 2 wounds. I am still alive. When you come to again, an unnerving calm permeates the atmosphere of the chamber. The Hive Tyrant is dead, and beside its gargantuan insectoid body lies that of Apostolari Radamus. So it's dead. That's good news. Medicae sensors built into your borrowed Narthesium scan his life signs and tell you what you already know, that the Librarian is beyond saving. The older Space Marine's eyes flicker open then. Brother Nabor, he says with a smile, I knew that we could deal with this horror together. Oh, it's a love story. He coughs and his eyes half close for a moment. When they've opened fully again, for the last time, as it turns out, you see the pupils of his eyes crackling with the last blue-white vestiges of psychic power. Beware the sleeping god, he says, his voice barely more than a whisper, his words no longer his own. Beware the harbinger of woe, and when death dies, look to the west. But we already killed the harbinger of woe. So that's alright. This information would have been useful earlier in the tomb ship, right? Oh, when death dies, look to the west. We ran west, didn't we? If we'd run the other way, I guess that wouldn't have worked out so well. Maybe we'd have ended up on the Necron planet instead. Because I was worried about that. Anyway. And then he has gone. Oh yes, a dramatic thing. Someone's dying, and we should care. So, a split second later, you feel the first of the paroxysmal tremors pass through the bioship. It would seem that Radames' psychic attack on the Hive Tyrant has fed back into the Hive mind, and thereby the Hive ship. 2. Instinct and years of battlefield experience in all theatres of war tell you should get out as quickly as you can. Turn Talonfleet immediately, recover his war gear. Or I don't want to go anywhere until I've been able to recover his gene seed. I bet this is going to be a choice between his war gear and his gene seed. You know? The worst thing that I think could happen if we don't recover his gene seed is we lose some purity. But I want a big hammer. So that's fine. Get out of there. Shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Good. So, Ramidus' arms are potent relics of the chapter, and their loss would come at an incalculable cost to the Imperial Fist's future. You take both the Librarian's Storm Shield and his Force Hammer, although in the hands of a non-psyker, it will act simply as a Thunder Hammer. Still sounds good though, doesn't it? Without any prior warning, another paroxysmal shudder passes through the bioship, so powerful that it throws you off your feet. So I can examine the Thunder Hammer and Storm Shield. Do I want to do that now? I'm going to attempt to recover his gene seed. Breaking the seals of Radames' armor, you open it up and expose the cooling body sealed within. But do you know how to activate? Yeah, I do. We've been through this. Gain purity. Brilliant. Okay, good. And then we can run. You enter the code, and with a grinding whir, the drill bit clamp extrudes from the end of the Medicaid tool, recovering both of Radames' protonoid glands. You deposit the grisly cyst-like growths in their own cryogenic stasis chamber inside Brother Ordis's Narthecium. As the hive mind seems to be awakening, it is imperative that you don't linger here any longer than you need to. We'll get out then. We'll get out. So, did you enter a lictor on your journey through the dormant hive ship? Yes, I did. I guess we would have to fight him now. This should hopefully save us some time. Retracing the route you took through the bioship, your eidetic memory implants, enabling you to remember every twist and turn of the superorganism's labyrinthine intestines. You soon find yourself at the rent in the creature's side with which you first entered its body. You cast a prayer of thanks to the Emperor and your Primarch for watching over you whilst you were inside the hive ship. Get clear of the stinking viscera of the alien monstrosity. Alright. Ooh, find the plasma gun. Ooh, find the blessed blade. Ooh. Well, how about that? And so it comes to pass that you continue on your honor-bound trek through the drifting derelict. You arrive at last the Adepta Soratis vessel, Spear of Ophelia. This ship, like so many others that have become amalgamated in the Herald of Oblivion, is empty. Its crew and the troops it must have once carried long dead, and now naught but dust. The quickest way onwards is directly through the haunted columned halls of the Spear. How are we doing for time, anyway? Oh, we're doing well. Ooh. I just wanted to check before we go into like a whole new thing. Anyway. And it says you are following this pilgrim's penitent path through the ship that you come upon the derelict shrine. Once it stood as a glory to the glory of the god Emperor of Man, a symbol of hope. Now it is nothing but broken window panes, toppled candle plinths, and torn banners. Even though, as a space marine, you do not venerate the Emperor as a deity, but rather as the paradigm of manhood, and ultimately the father of all your kind, to see the shrine to his holy glory such a pitiful condition still fills you with a sense of loss and great sadness. And so you set about restoring the shrine as best you can. With your self-appointed task complete at last, as you are regarding your handiwork, a ball of glowing luminescence appears as if from nowhere in the center of the chapel. The sphere of glittering light expands, bathing everything in its blessed light. As you absorbed into its halo of illumination, every fiber of your being burns as if on fire. But rather than feeling pain, you feel energized, as if there is nothing you cannot do in the Emperor's name. We gain some purity and our wounds are restored. Interesting. Love it. But the Shrine of Martyrs is not done with you yet. As you pass through the templum doors, you notice the statue of a battle sister set within a gloomy alcove above the lintel, watching over the portal below. Her hallowed armaments are in her hands, only these weapons are not carved from stone, but are actual holy relics, of the Adepta Sororitas. Sororitas? The Adepta Sororitas. The what are they called? It's not just Battle Sisters, is it? I can't remember. Anyway, they're Lady Space Marines. Whatever. Once consecrated by the priests of the Ecclesiarchy and enshrined here in ages past. Examine the Blessed Blade. Examine the Plasma Gun. Continue to examine the Plasma Blade. Do you take the Blessed Blade? Oh, because I didn't inspect the hammer or the shield. We didn't get to keep them. It's annoying. Let's see. Chainsword. Blessed Blade. Oh, it's got +1 strength. Yeah, absolutely take the Blessed Blade. It's just better. I love it. Brilliant. Examine the Plasma Gun. Do you take the Plasma Gun? I don't know, do I? Let's see here. Instead of the Heavy Flamer, so accuracy will be a little less because lower strength, but it does more damage. And I think I want the additional damage, and also means we've reset our ammo. So I'm going to take the Plasma Gun. Excellent. Continue to explore the Herald of Oblivion. There is a hiss of static in your helm comm, and a moment later you hear a voice. Brothers, can you hear me? Squad Scipio, respond. The voice makes you stop, your two hearts racing. I wonder what that sounds like. It's like... or is it more jazzy? I don't know. Sergeant Valerius, you reply. Unable to hide your relief. You're alive. Brother Nabor, Valerius' voice comes again. Your brother Sergeant no longer able to hide the pain that comes through in his wounds. Thank Dorn. Where are the others? Are they with you? You are unable to hide your own sadness as you tell Sergeant Valerius. What do you know of the fate of the rest of Squad Scipio? You finish with a question of your own. Where are you, sir? The teleportarium malfunctioned. Yeah, I noticed. Became separated. Found myself in the wreck. You are losing him. Sergeant Valerius' words are becoming more and more indistinct as his comm signal steadily degrades. Destroy the Hulk. His voice comes again briefly before dissolving into static. You suddenly remember the signum you found in the mutants' camp. Would be very useful right now. What is a signum? Quickly jack the signum into my suit. Jacking the signum into your suit's inbuilt comm, you do what you can to improve your Vox's reception. It's a trap, brother. Valerius' voice suddenly comes again through your helm. It was from the outset. You must do all you can to destroy the Herald of Oblivion. A trap? What can Sergeant Valerius mean? But what about you, Brother Sergeant? You ask. Tell me where you are, and we can put an end to this threat together. No, Brother Nabor. My destiny has already been determined. It's up to you now. Do not allow yourself to fall for their wiles as well. You must do everything in your power to put an end to this blasphemy once and for all. Destroy the Hulk. Destroy. The signal is breaking up again, and no matter what you try, you are unable to recapture it. Whose wiles? Whose trap? You shout into the comm. Alright. Yeah, pretend I was shouting. But the only answer you receive is a ghostly echo from Brother Sergeant's final words to you. Destroy the Hulk. Destroy the Hulk. Destroy the Hulk. So you now know that Brother Sergeant Valerius still lives. According to the signal your Allspecs are now receiving from his armoured suit, Valerius is somewhere within the next section of the Hulk, which happens to be formed from the wreck of a Retribution-class battleship. Bearing in mind your brief exchange with your commanding officer, what do you do now? Go after Sergeant Valerius, or, regardless of the impossible task, I will attempt to destroy the Space Hulk. I'm going to go after him. We've got all day, right? You know? Is there a time limit? Probably not. We're going to go see if we can save him. He might be useful. So we'll try that. And we'll do it this episode still. Brilliant. Brother Sergeant Valerius gave you a direct order to destroy the warp-born abomination that is the Herald of Oblivion. Disobeying the command of a senior officer is contrary to the statutes of Codex Astartes and unbecoming of an Imperial Fist Space Marine. Whatever. So, you wander in the corridors and hangars of this strange vessel following Sergeant Valerius' signal. The strength of the signal is intermittent, and you lose it for a few precious seconds before it appears again suddenly. Wheels of fate. Boop, boop, boop. Again. Fate determined. The signal grows stronger. Oh, it's some Corsairs, huh? Interesting. So, your wary steps bring you to at last to the mustering halls of the battleship, where Imperial Guard commanders would once have addressed those under the command. Yawning again. Flippin' heck. Anyway, would have addressed those under his command, stirring them to great deeds of valor with his rhetoric, and by reading passages from the life of Macarius. I'm not sure who that is, frankly. So, but a usurper lord has set up his court in the shadow of the defamed Imperial Eagle, aboard his personal raider transport, surrounded by his chattel slaves and minion mercenaries, and is a sinisterly handsome, androgynous creature. His lithe, muscular form is clad in blood-dark robes and tight-fitting armor, formed of segmented plates held in place by a variety of hooks and serrated blades that pierce his alabaster skin. His hair is tied in an elaborate topknot, whilst precious gems have been implanted in the sparse skin of his high forehead. Seize the whelp cur of the Monkey's Corpse Guard. Alright, cool. You know, it's down to call us names. Alright, fine. The Archon commands, a pitiless smile playing about his ebon-painted lips. You can only assume that he is speaking in low Gothic, so as to wring every last drop of pleasure from your torment as you understand fully how demeaning your situation has become. Ooh. So low Gothic, I'm assuming, is just like Imperial peasant speak, right? I'm guessing. Or colloquial chit-chat, like Reichspiel, I guess. Anyway, at the Archon's command, blade-armored warriors, inhuman alien bodyguards, and half-naked branded females move to surround you. Automatically, you go for your weapon. You are a warrior, Space Marine. Sorry, you are a warrior, Space Marine. That's what it sounds like. The Despot Lord says, his voice dripping with malice. Yield to me, and I, Tenebrax Nox. Oh, God, Tenebrax. Have we seen Tenebrax? Did I see that somewhere else? I don't know. That name rings a bell. Archon of the Cabal of Endless Night, promise that your death, when it comes, shall not be an ignoble one. Stand alone against the full might of the Archon's depraved court of pain and pleasure seekers. What do you want to do? Resist the Archon's forces, even though such an action may appear futile, or accept the truth of the situation and surrender in the face of overwhelming odds. That seems silly. So let's fight them. Good. Warning, this fight only lasts for 3 rounds. Okay. Despite the desperate nature of the situation you are in now, you run towards the Archon's raider, screaming, I shall never yield to you. In response, Tenebrax Nox gives a squeal of cruel delight as a coven of barely clothed witches leap from the gunwales of the raider, razor flails whirring about their heads, hydra gauntlets and punch daggers honed to monomolecular sharpness in hand, ready to reap a harvest of blood in their for their sadistic master. Hello. So I lost 3 rounds, which implies that we need to kill these guys like real quick, right? So I guess we'll go plasma gun. God, that does not have much ammo, huh? Still, it does some more wounds, although not that many more wounds. Wow, the knife has 1 wound. Pointless thing to have. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know. Now I'm just thinking we just bolt to them constantly. Let's just keep bolting. Oh, good. Good. Ow. Ow. Oh, hello. Okay, good. Let's take the one at the back. Come on. Go on, die. Die, 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 die. Alright. I only lost 3 rounds. So what happens after 3 rounds? You know, do we lose after 3 rounds? What happens? I don't know. So proximity 0, good. So let's chop them up fun time, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. Stab. I said stab. I said stab. Good. These you take like double damage, which is nice. I like that. Ow. Yeah, I thought as much. Victory. Okay. Weird. Reinforcements. Oh god. Probably not ours. Oh dear. Okay, that's the thing that we fight next. The Archon's elite warriors join the fight. Oh god. Outnumbered by the Cabal of Endless Night, you are seized, divested of your war gear, and dragged aboard the Archon's personal transport. See how easily the sons and daughters of Kamorag bring you to your knees, monkey. Monkey? Is it supposed to be like monkey? Is that how they see us? Is that the idea? This is like less evolved? Is that the thing? Is that the stupid pun that Games Workshop decided to do? Because it wouldn't surprise me at all. It really wouldn't. Anyway, the sickening creature gloats, massaging his long-fingered hands together in lascivious glee. What a weird dude. His alien accent gives his words a venomous edge. Exhausted, overwhelmed, and utterly emotionally wrung out, there is only one thing you can say in response. Why? Why? Nox laughs, and then turns to address his retainers. The monkey seeks enlightenment. Perhaps I might be permitted to explain, O mighty Archon. Comes a voice from the shadows behind the Archon's throne, a voice that sounds more like a reptilian hiss. Its obsequious tone lacks any sincerity whatsoever. Very well, homunculus. Nox agrees begrudgingly. The Archon's witches and warriors willingly part before the advance of the creature that reveals itself to you now. Ancient and horrific beyond imagining, the flesh sculptor has clearly worked his twisted art upon itself. A total of 6 arms sprout from the swollen joints of its shoulders, while the rest of the creature is as stringy as a lashworm. In each hand it holds a carving knife or surgical instrument of some kind. Its face is mainly hidden behind a mask of worm skin, but much of what remains exposed appears to be flensed bone. The creature moves towards you, borne aloft by the sinuous, undulating things that rise beneath the trailing hem of its blood-stained robes. You ask why, the creature says, leering down at you, and it shall amuse me to tell you. It was Archon Nox's desire that we arrange for the Warp Wanderer to emerge from the dimension of demons at this time and this place, that we might lure a cadre of space marines on board. Archon Nox's magisterial plan was to capture you and your brethren, that he might return to the Dark City with you as his slaves and receive the adulation from his kin clans that he is deserving of. The surgeon torturer takes a sucking breath that bubbles with saliva. Then you become unpleasantly aware of the mewling of the writhing horrors tying themselves in knots around the homunculus's clawed feet. Ugh. However, the most gracious Archon Nox decreed that the prophets of the flesh, under the guidance of one, or of I, Dravel Crack, be permitted to harvest your gene seed for our own purposes. You feel sick to the pit of your stomach, making a conscious point of not looking at the narthecium affixed to your arm. This unholy creature desires your chapter's DNA above all else, and you have brought it right to him. But you fascinate me, the homunculus drools. You look the meatsmith in the eye, then, but do not give the horror the satisfaction of a reply. It was you who first asked the question, why? Are you not curious now? Are you not curious why you were saved the indignities visited upon your brethren? Do you not wonder why the dark muses have permitted you to survive this long? Do you not believe that fate itself has marked you out for some reason, some higher purpose? You are so bound within its knotty skeins. How can you not believe it to be so? The homunculus's words chill you to your core, because you are beginning to wonder why yourself, and you don't like the answers you are coming up with. Some higher purpose, crutch. Crack, pah, the Archon spits. Fate has forsaken this one. See how the mighty have fallen. You could certainly do with some kind of divine intervention right now, right? Perhaps you have inadvertently set a sequence of events in motion. Something ancient perhaps fell to its doom. Oh, brilliant. That's fantastic. Wow, okay, I love this. I absolutely love this. How are we doing for time? We're on, it's been half an hour, and I know that this next bit should be quite fun. Although I have no idea how close we are to the end, so maybe if this isn't actually the end of the episode, it's going to bolt it on the rest of the game. I don't know. It feels like we're, towards the end now. But I've also got to assume that there'll be, like, this kind of confrontation, then maybe, like, a race to get to somewhere, and maybe, setting some bombs, then retreating and trying to escape, back to our ship, and, like, there's probably a few bits, right? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Because this could be the last episode, but probably not. But maybe. Who knows? I don't know, but you do, because you're in the future. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and either carry on watching or come back tomorrow, I guess. Take care, guys.